everybody, I am Masha and I do not have enough words to express today how excited I am to welcome you to the Deck of the Year project finale with friends. It is truly an honor for me to host such a wonderful lineup of tarot tubers, the people who I am inspired by and whose channels I love. So in this video, 8 of familiar to many of you tarot content creators along with yours truly are joining together to individually share with you our decks of the year for 2025. So welcome to the Deck of the Year finale with friends. Look, many of you know that the Deck of the Year project 2025 was the idea that I had early in the beginning of 2025, as my intention for the year was to be more disciplined with tracking which tarot decks I used on a monthly basis, and also to record my readings, to be more organized in recording my readings. And you cannot imagine how thrilled, over the moon and grateful I was when a few tarot tubers joined me on the journey through the Deck of the Year for the whole year, and they were making their monthly videos, some from the beginning, some joined us halfway, where others didn't join us formally in the Deck of the Year project, but they have been so supportive of my channel that me being a fan and subscriber to their channels, and not to be creepy or anything, but I did keep a mental note of the decks that they were discussing on their respective channels. What you may not know though is the idea of this video, the idea of the Deck of the Year finale with friends came to me first, even before I thought of making the year-long series with Deck of the Year project, Deck of the Month. So, before I pass the torch to everyone else, let me briefly explain how my 8 YouTube friends and I approach this Deck of the Year finale feature. To keep the flow of the video smooth, we each had 5 minutes to film our individual segment in which we would share our Deck of the Year or decks of the year, as we kept that option open to up to 3 decks, because choosing one is just sometimes impossible. And as for our today's lineup, you are in for such a treat here today, as we will get to hear from Coco at Tarot Geek, Ellen at Moment Tarot, Aina of Tepru Tarot, Cara from Lady Cara Tarot, Marilyn from Tarot Clarity, Sarah of Sarah's Tarot and Oracle for the Soul, Robyn at Robyn's Reflections, Tamara at Tammy Pie, and myself, Cara from Lady Cara Tarot, whom I deeply admire, was the first ready with her Deck of the Year. So without further ado, take it away, Cara.
Hello, this is Cara from Cara Tarot with the final unveiling of my Deck of the Year after participating in hashtag Deck of the Month all year. I started a little late, but it was very easy for me to regroup because I keep a schedule of my rotation of decks, which I'm pretty faithful to sticking with. I am a Virgo. So that made catching up very easy. And Masha told us that we need to make this 3 decks, which was nice. So we didn't have to do just one, and it gives us a little more variety to talk about what moves us in a deck. The one I'm going to start with, my number 3, I kept going back and forth about the order of these, quite frankly. This was the deck, the Forager's Daughter Tarot, that bumped some of my favorites for my top 5 decks last year. So it was in the top 5, even though it was new to me last year. I rave about this deck regularly, and It is a combination of flora and fauna. And ultimately, one of the things that has made it rise up even higher in my estimation was my realization that reading with this deck for me was like reading poetry. There is so much in the deck, and there's so many levels to work with. And then the beautiful artistry of Jessica Lee Howard, who created this deck and who wrote the book as well. There aren't that many decks of people that have done both. And so it was a combination of all of those things and a magnificent book that rose this up in my estimation. Next is another artist and writer deck. For those of you who follow Mascha, and for many of us who are friends with Mascha, this has been a year of Minchiati, of loving different Minchiati decks. And Amparo Aguirre's Tarocchi Minchiati di Marzo, which I believe is out of print now, is just this incredible accumulation of traditional imagery and modern bright colors. So you lose nothing of the traditional elements, and what you have to gain is her incredible use of color to bring this old world traditional game to life. And I say game because she actually teaches people how to play the game and has instructions for it with the deck. So this, of course, is one that I ended up probably posting more about and had more videos either showing it or mentioning it than any other deck this year. The incredible Minchiati di Marzo. And then finally, probably no surprise to anyone, my favorite deck remains my favorite deck, Influence of the Angels Tarot. The collage artwork is just incredible. I even love the borders on this deck that look like a pillow frame. Traditional imagery, classical paintings used, and the depth available in the book that goes along with it that has a daily affirmational quote called an angelic message, the biographies of all of the people in the court cards, they're actually portraits, the incredible, easy to read Rider-Waite-Smith symbolism, and then an angel for every one of the majors. There's so many levels to this deck, including it is just an exceptionally beautiful collage deck. It has many of my favorite representations. I did not do as many videos with it because I was doing a 78-day reading with it. So that meant, of course, I had more than anything else with this deck. It remains the deck that I'm married to, my favorite. Deck of the year, Influence of the Angels Tarot.
Hi everybody, my name's Ellen and I'm from Moomin Tarot, the YouTube channel, and I also have another channel, Moomin Zorro, which is a doll channel, but I've had my tarot channel for about a year now, and yeah, I've been having lots of fun with it, joining in with the community and doing tags and so on. So about halfway through the year I joined Mascha's Deck of the Month and Deck of the Year Project 2025 tags. So I've done about 6 months of Deck of the Month. And yeah, it's been really fun seeing everybody's choices. I've become very interested in historical decks this year. So that's been, yeah, it's added to my knowledge by doing this tag as well. So my deck of the year. So I am going to use all three of the options that Mash has given us. We're allowed to choose up to three. So my first deck of the year is, of course, the Eliphas Levi Tarot by Marco Benedetti. It's in this beautiful wooden box. And I am using this tarot as for the Drop 'em 78 challenge, which is you do a card a day, you analyse one card a day for 78 days. I think we're on about day 52, something like that. We're on the Knight of Swords and we're about to move into the major arcana, which I'm excited about. But yeah, I've been going through the Levi deck and translating all of Levi's like private notes that he wrote on each of the cards. Lots of it is in Latin, and it's just been an amazing studying experience, and I've learnt a lot about Levi's ideas and about tarot more broadly. So yeah, that's been incredible. So this is my study deck of the year 2025, and I can't choose it as my deck of the year because I haven't even actually shuffled it yet. I've only been using it as a study deck, and I've never laid the cards with this deck. So although I love it, it's not my deck of the year. It's my study deck of the year. And then I also want to do a special mention for this beautiful RWS. So this is like my RWS of the year. This has been my comfort deck this year. So this is the Forager's Daughter Tarot. It's a beautiful deck. It's got gold edging. It's got these beautiful backs with cicada, and it features a lot of like little creatures and plants and ants and mushrooms and centipede there. It's a really comforting deck for me. It grew on me slowly. At first I wasn't quite convinced by the colour palette, but that has also grown on me, and I absolutely love this deck. So it's the deck I turn to for a little bit of comfort. So that is The Forager's Daughter by Jessica Lee Howard, and that is my RWS of the year. But now we're down to the last category, my deck of the year, and there was only one deck I could choose for this, and it is the Minchiati di Bomarzo by Amparo Aguirre. I think that's how you say it. And I've been just blown away by this deck. First of all, it got me into Minchiati. I didn't know what to expect when I ordered it. I didn't have any Minchiati at that stage, and it's just an absolutely beautiful deck. It's like somebody else described it like jewels. It's the colours, it's the gold highlights on each of them. I don't know if they're picking up actually. There, yeah. And it's just an absolute pleasure to lay these cards. It's a soft linen kind of texture, very fine, lovely bendy cardstock, and just everything about this deck. I absolutely adore it. Beautiful cards, beautiful pips. That's my deck of the year. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Hello YouTube, this is Tammy Pie, and I'm here to give you my deck of the year. But first, we're gonna do, this is it, La Foto Sibilla. This was my favorite deck to use that I kept in my purse. I would whip it out when we were having lunch or coffee, or even there's like a little chocolate shop down the road that has like a little chocolate bar. I looked for other Sibilla decks. I mean, I'd see, I've seen like Tom Benjamin talk about them. I thought, you know what? This is the only one I really love. Oracle of the Year, again, there was some contest, but really no contest. And this is the When Olga Speaks oracle, created and produced by Sasha Lopez. I believe her company name is Numa Collective, and just a stunningly beautiful, goes with anything oracle deck that I never stop talking about. I'm sure everyone's sick and tired of hearing it, but it works really well with any tarot deck, in my opinion. I mean, I suppose there are some that it wouldn't work with, but I haven't found one yet, not in my collection. And it's just amazing. Just what a beautiful work of art. Sasha Lopez, When Olga Speaks, is my oracle deck of the year. Okay, are we ready? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, come on. You all know it's going to be Spirit Keepers. Because of the extraordinary amount of time that I spent with this deck, it has to be my deck of the year. And it was a fun time. People more want to see what's new, what just came out. They don't want to see this very expensive, hard to get indie deck that is also a little complicated. A lot of things were changed. But the people who love Spirit Keepers really engaged with me, and I had a lot of fun playing around with it. And I was so thrilled to have people look at it and find it useful and have it make them take out their Spirit Keepers again, use it, and enjoy it. It was really a moment of victory for me. And thank you. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for coming. And thank you, Mascha, for continuing to put out these great challenges. I really had a good time, and I did find it extremely useful to do the Deck of the Month, Deck of the Year project.
Hello, I am Sarah of Sarah's Tarot and Oracle for the Soul. I am a professional tarot and oracle reader here in Roswell, New Mexico. All right. So Mascha, thank you so much for doing this Deck of the Month, Deck of the Year. It's been so much fun. I used a total of 70 tarot and oracle decks, maybe a few more oracle, but I tried to use a different tarot and oracle each week. Now, I did not do any card tarot readings for myself in August, and I haven't done much this month in December, but I do have a clear winner. So my deck of the year is Tarot of Hearts. This is by Isabel Hayes, and this is by far the best deck of the year. But look at how chunky this book is. It is so big. It's 287 pages. The book is in full color. It is beautiful. The information is amazing, not just for the major arcana, but the minor as well. We have what the picture's about, who's featured, and then it says the heart speaks, and we have keywords, open heart, closed heart, and then we have a quote from a famous painter, artist, designer, what have you. Now, I purchased this on a whim on Amazon when it was on sale. I hadn't seen many flip-throughs, but I am so delightfully surprised. I think that me having no expectations or low expectation of this deck was amazing. I mean, look at the edging. It's edged in matte yellow, and it's my favorite cardstock. It is linen. It's on linen cardstock. The quality is phenomenal. I mean, look at these cards. No bowing in sight. Let's see who this was produced by, because I want to give them their props. This is by US Game Systems Inc. The color, the vibrancy, just the theme that this is the arts. It's dance, it's theater, it's movies, it's writers, poets, musicians. The cards are just so beautiful and amazing, so original. I have not seen another deck like this on the market anywhere. And just for the fact that it was not hyped up, there wasn't a lot of like fanfare around this. I absolutely love this tarot deck. I think it was released in 2025. Oh, it was released in 2024, but I got this last year in 2025. It's not 2026 yet. Now, my Oracle of the Year, I had called it. I knew when I used this, I said that this was going to be my Oracle of the Year. This is produced by Hay House, and this is by Adama Sase, and artwork by Carlos Fama. Now, this is another beautiful deck. It's not on linen, but I don't think I've ever seen linen cardstock used by Hay House. For a Hay House quality, the cardstock is really good. It is not too thick, not too thin. It's glossy, and I tend to like Hay House, their glossy decks. The book is amazing, and you will learn all about the Black Moon Lilith, what it is, how it's calculated, but you'll also learn about Lilith and Adam and ancient magic of alchemy, and the 7 hermetic principles are listed in here. And this deck is a deck for empowerment for Black women, but as Adama says, it's for everyone, anyone dealing with oppression. The cardstock is amazing. The artwork is amazing. The book is amazing. This year for me was me working on my shadow self. And I think that we saw in 2025 the shadow of the collective consciousness, unconsciousness is now becoming conscious. So this deck is really important and really powerful for us to work with and use. And I just think that this deck is so important right now. So these were my tarot and oracle picks for 2025. Masha, you're awesome. And I hope everyone has a happy 2026. Bye, y'all.
Hello again, tarot friends. Masha from Musings by Masha here. It is my turn now to reveal my deck of the year decks, as I actually have 3 decks to share with you now. Well, since 2025 was the year where my tarot studies were mainly focused around the Minkiyata tradition, I have to begin with my Minkiyata deck of the year, and unquestionably it has to be the Minkiyata Nera, also known as the Dark Minkiyata, handmade by Marco Benedetti. This is the most beautiful Minkiyata deck I have ever seen, and having this handmade beauty in my hands is a dream come true. The dark backgrounds in these cards are the inspiration Marco drew from the incomplete Medici Lorraine Minkiyate, and the anonymous Minkiyate images vividly colored by Marco Benedetti and laid over the dark backdrops that we see in here. They make this tarot into not only a stunning but a very unique Minkiyate deck. I have learned this year that I am much partial to the earlier Minkiyate pattern which this dark Minkiyate follows. Add to that Marco Benedetti's skillful execution of the cards printed on the art paper, and we have in front of us my Minkiyate deck of the year. Then I also have my illustrated deck of the year to share with you, and it's the easiest pick for me because we are talking about my Ride or Die deck here. This is my trusted and much loved Tarot Lubok by Eugene Vinitsky of Tarot Mania. This tarot follows RWS tradition but is done in the old woodblock illustration style called Lubok, hence the name of this tarot. I've had my Russian copy of this deck since 2017 and have wanted to showcase it in a top category for a very long time. But for that long time, Tarot Lubok was only available exclusively to the students of the Russian School of Tarot. Well, until this year when Eugene Vinitsky, the artist of this tarot, got the rights back to make this deck available. So yes, Lubok is an illustrative art style style, which was popular in the 19th century Russia, and it's the style I absolutely adore. The cards you are seeing here remind me of the folk stories and fairy tales I grew up with, and the summers I spent in Russia between my birth city of St. Petersburg and my granny sister's village. The buildings you see in these cards, the lapti, those woven shoes, and even samovar are the elements that warm my heart. The artwork in Tarot Lubok is skillfully outstanding and purposeful, and I love reading with this full of charm, very chatty deck. It's the easiest choice for my RWS of the year, and I'm thrilled that it's now in print and available as an indie deck directly from Eugene Vinitsky at Tarotmania. And now to my peep deck of the year, which follows the Tarot de Marseille tradition and which is my overall deck of the year. So yes, if I could only feature one deck as my deck of the year for 2025, it would have to be and is the Bardoni, the 19th century Tarocco Milanese, impeccably handmade by Marco Benedetti. The Bardoni was my most anticipated deck of this year, and to me this tarot is as perfect a reproduction of a historic tarot as one can get. In my books, it is a true masterpiece and a masterclass in card making. From the aesthetic beauty Milanese tarots are famous for to the perfect color palette of this unrestored edition, everything speaks of exceptional craftsmanship and a genius of Marco Benedetti as a card maker. His work in this deck is outstanding, right down to flawlessly constructed Rivaltini borders. The Bardoni very quickly became one of my most read with, most essential and most treasured decks, and it is my overall deck of the year for 2025. So these were my decks of the year, and now let us hear from Coco at Tarot Geek TV. Over to you, Coco.
Hi there. I am here to talk about the Deck of the Year project. And my name is Coco. My channel is Tarot Geek and Tarot Geek TV. And I have an Instagram. I will link it on my YouTube channel. But I also just kind of wanted to talk about how I felt about this Deck of the Year, Deck of the Month project. And for me, this has been such a fun process to do this year, because it helped me make a monthly video looking at what I really resonated with that month, and it really gave me a different perspective, and it was really fun, and I liked being part of this group. So I have 3 decks I'm going to show you. The first one is the Bohemian Gothic Tarot, and the reason that this is included is because it was kind of my dark deck, my shadowy deck, but it also had a lot of humor in it. And I just thoroughly enjoyed it and really loved working with it. I've had this deck for years. This is the newest version of it, and the backs, I love the backs. It's the 4th edition that's in the box. It's the one that's available now. I really love the changes they've made. And the cold foiling is beautiful in real life. And sometimes people complain that, oh, maybe there's a shadow on it. But that's only on a video. And when you're using it in real life, it doesn't actually do that. This is just such a fun, beautiful deck. And this year, it was just so wonderful to use. And I just absolutely loved it. So this was one of my 3 decks, and I'm going to keep using it in 2026. This was the most fun I've ever had with this deck. This is, I've used it just so many times, but this year it just was even better than it has been in the past. The next deck I'm going to show you is the Rose Tarot by Nigel Jackson. This is a mass market deck, and this was kind of my esoteric study deck. The thing about this deck was that I had it for a long time since it came out, and really just started playing with it this year. Really, I started playing with it in November. My friend was over visiting me around Thanksgiving, and we were just sitting outside at the table talking, and I pulled out this deck, and I was like, oh, I want to start using this. And we did this huge spread, and it was just even better than I expected it to be. And I knew it was going to be a great deck, but it was so good. I'm so impressed with this. And the guidebook I really enjoy. It's not overly long, but it's got a lot in it. And Nigel Jackson's artwork is gorgeous. So this has just been a treasure this year. And it is still available. It's mass market. It's a Llewellyn deck. It's just really, really cool. So this was one of my top 3. And I really did really love it. And this is the guidebook. It has all kinds of spreads, and it has enough information that it was just kind of easy to use, but perfect. And my third deck of the year was my Kitten Nugget Tarot. I think we've shown this a bunch. I love this as my cute, happy comfort deck. It was wonderful. I still love it. I'm so happy I have this deck. This is an indie deck. And it's just been such a fun deck for me to have. This has been a super hard year, and having this deck just makes me smile. And I've shown this a ton, so I won't show it a lot, but I want to show a little of it. It does have some oracle cards that you can have in or out. This is one of the oracle cards. And it's so charming. It was a Kickstarter that I missed and then had to wait and put it on my wish list for Christmas last year. And I love it. I'm so happy with it. I think it's the cutest thing ever, and it just makes me happy. And if I had to pick one deck, it would be this one. It would be my Bohemian Gothic. So if I had to pick one for deck of the year, it would be this one.
Hey friends, this is Marilyn from Tarot Clarity. I'd like to thank Masha for thinking of me and including me in her end of year 2025 favorite decks. I only am showcasing 2 in this video to keep it under 5 or 6 minutes. How can I even talk about favorite decks without acknowledging the many contributions of the prolific Marco Benedetti? I mean, my channel is almost the Marco Benedetti show because I showcase so many of his decks. I can't even tell you how many decks he created in 2025. I just can't. But one of the decks that he created from 2025, that he created and I received in 2025, it was created a long time ago, was his Visconti Homage Tarot deck. Oh my gosh, it blows me away to own this deck. Now, I purchased this deck way back in the day when he was just creating decks on Game Crafters, when he was getting his feet wet, you know, with make playing cards. And his Visconti Homage caught my eye, and I purchased it, and I just loved it for its simplicity, for its, you know, simple elegance. And I was blown away when I received this deck in 2025. Now, it is an old deck that he created, I think in the 90s, but I received it in 2025. And it is an homage to an ancient deck, one of the first tarot decks that we're aware of, right? And what I love about this deck is, and it's redundant to say, it's simple elegance. We have this exquisite border of white and black in every card. It's just gorgeous. And then the flecks of, in this case, gold and silver. Wow, it's beautiful. Beautiful original art. I like it for its simplicity. And there's also another pack that goes with it of alternate options for multiple cards. You know, the world card has multiple options, you know. Oh, just by chance, as does the Tower card. And it's just a great deck. And I want to publicly thank Marco, because I don't know if I do it enough, for all of the contributions that he's made to the tarot community. You're just a master, and I love your work. The deck that I want to acknowledge for, I think, the most exquisite art of 2025 by an independent artist has to be Valentina De Luca's Matronua Marseille. This deck is incredible. It really is. I mean, I wish I had, it just happens to be on the bottom. I mean, look at this Chariot deck card, an example. You can see the individual grains of dust being kicked up by the horses in this card. The detail in this deck is incredible. I mean, with the chalices, one could expect to feel the ridges as you run your finger. That's how realistic this deck is. And I also love it because it's an homage to the historic traditions of both the French and the Italian. We have, you know, we have 84 cards in this. I think it's 84 or 82 cards in this deck. There's 4 additional cards in this deck. And some of the cards we have optional choices for. We have, like, for example, with the Hermit, we have a nod to the TDM. And then there's another Hermit card, which of course I won't be able to find easily. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Which is a nod to the Italian tradition. It's just incredible. And the art is just, it's gorgeous. I can't believe it. I can't believe, and it was hand painted. This was hand painted. This was not done with the computer, anything like this. This is hand painted artwork. And she did it in, I think she said 6 months. It's incredible. So there's no way. Look at the elegance of the swords. Look at that. Everything about this deck is just incredible. And I could not end the year 2025 without special recognition of this exquisite deck and the contributions by Valentina De Luca for giving it to us. Until next time, friends, peace, stay well, be brave, be kind.
Hi there, I'm Ina, and my YouTube channel is Taproot Tarot, which I started earlier this spring. Like Masha, I am a historical tarot enthusiast, and that's the focus of my channel. And I have really enjoyed following several creators' Deck of the Month videos, and I've been excited to see the finale of the Deck of the Year project that Masha did. Now, my personal practice just isn't organized enough to have participated in Masha's project throughout the year, but she was very kind to invite me to join the Deck of the Year video. And as soon as she offered, my Deck of the Year was obvious, so I said, sure, I can definitely do that. And it was so incredibly kind of her to include me, even though I didn't participate the rest of the year, other than watching and supporting my fellow creators. One deck stands out to me as one that really encouraged me to dive deeper than I had before into tarot history, and I learned so much not only about this particular unique deck, but about tarot and the philosophies behind it, and the inspirations behind it, and the art behind it, than I had ever imagined doing before. And I happened upon this deck completely by accident. Sometime earlier this year, I had a couple of decks from Tarot Midnight from the creator Gergely Bagameri on my wish list on Etsy. And I had decided to go check out that shop and pick up one of the items on my wish list. Well, I didn't pick up either of those items because I saw for the first time the Tarot of Paris. And when I saw images of these cards for the first time, I was absolutely blown away. I had never seen a tarot, a historical tarot, anything like this. And it really challenged a lot of my notions about what tarot is or had been at this point in history. And so I had to get this. I didn't get any of the other decks. I wish I could afford every single one of Gergely's decks. But this one won. And it was being shipped from Eastern Europe, so it was a little bit of a delay. And during that time, I found a facsimile copy of it from the Bibliothèque Nationale in France. And this is a vintage deck, which I ordered from a bookshop in Marseille, France, which is a little ironic since it's the Tarot of Paris and not the Tarot of Marseille. So I knew I just had to learn more about this deck, and that meant having the original imagery that we know of on hand as well. And this one actually ended up making it to me before Gergely's deck did. And they were both well worth the wait. Now I ended up making an in-depth video on this deck, which I think is titled something like Super Deep Dive on the Anonymous Tarot of Paris. But this was a video that I worked on in my head and just in my spare time for months. And if you were following me during that time, you may have heard me say multiple times that I had a deep dive upcoming. And it just kept getting pushed off because it was one of those, the more you learn, the less you know kind of situations. This is the first complete tarot that we have with the triumphs in the order of the TDM. There are others that are incomplete, that are earlier. It's not considered a part of the TDM pattern because the images used for the triumphs, as you may have noticed, are quite different. But also you'll see the pips follow a different pattern. But it is something of a proto-TDM and very important to the history of the Tarot de Marseille. So if you're interested in tarot history, not necessarily even just the Tarot of Paris, I recommend that video, if I do say so myself. But I'm so glad that I went on this exploration. You'll see that these are still in order. I've used both of these decks during the time that I was studying it. Since I made that video though, I'm going to be honest, I haven't touched these decks. I needed a little break from them, and I had plenty of other decks to keep me occupied, but I love these decks and I will revisit them. So I can say unequivocally, even though I have not even touched these decks since I did my deep dive on them, the Anonymous Tarot of Paris is for sure my deck of the year. And if I had to choose between the two copies that I have, I would choose the facsimile because I was able to really make some interesting connections by seeing what we have available as the original art, even though the original of this was probably much better printed and much more detailed. Gergely's version, as you can see, is an absolutely gorgeous restoration. So it was just as important in this deep dive to be able to see the imagery more clearly. There are a lot of details I would not have been able to pick up had I only had the facsimile. So these two in partnership, I would consider my deck of the year. But if I had to choose one over the other, you know me, I'm going to go with the facsimile because I love me a facsimile. So if you're interested, you might check out my video or pick up a copy of this deck if you just want to let it teach you on its own because it has a lot to show you. Well, thanks again to all of you whose videos I've enjoyed all year long, and to Masha for being so super kind and inclusive to ask me to join this video. I'm sorry I did not complete the homework, but at least I'm here for the final exam. All right, well, Happy New Year to everybody, and thanks again so much. Bye!
Hello, I'm Robyn from Robyn's Reflections here on YouTube and on Instagram, and I think some of you who know my channel might be a little surprised to see me here. You know that I get all stressed out about choosing favorites, but Masha reached out and I was so excited that she thought of me, that there was no way I was going to pass up this opportunity. Thank you so much, Masha, for thinking of me. So I had to do it. I had to choose my deck of the year. And it turns out that it really, when I started to think about this, it really wasn't that difficult. It wasn't that hard of a decision. It really was an easy choice, you know, because there was really only one set of decks, not one deck. I have three that could even belong here. Let me show you the decks. It's a deck family of the year. Mindscapes Tarot by John A. Rice, Floridian Mythos Oracle by Amber Ray Mollett, and The Dreaming Waves Oracle by Nawan Junhasari. These decks really held me down this year, and it was the only practice that I can say that I wanted to go back to again and again and again. And what was the last one that came in? This one. This one came in around my birthday, so that was mid-year. So these weren't even here the whole year, and still they've won the Deck of the Year challenge here. This one came in last, and it kind of drew the other decks to it from the shelves. You know, it started to call to them. It was like a little mermaid, like a little siren calling to the other two decks. Come play with me, play with me. And I put them together, and it was just like something I just kept wanting to go back to again and again and again. I'm still using this set of decks. They helped me do energy check-ins for myself. They helped me with my stress levels. I did readings about what I might be ignoring emotionally, what I might be looking for physically. It was like a self-guided self-reflection. I think in my end of the year wrap up, I called it mind, body, spirit check-ins, but they weren't mind, body, spirit readings. I didn't do any kind of like spreads with them. I just spoke to the cards and I let the colors and the keywords and the guidebooks. I spent time with the guidebooks. I would sit for an hour at a time. I would pull them when I felt I needed them. It wasn't like once a week or every other week or anything. Just whenever I felt I needed to check in, I would pull these 3 off the shelf together, sit with them, sit with my journal, not my tarot journal, my actual journal that I use to journal for life. And I spent like a good amount of time just really soaking in whatever messages I was getting from these colors, from these images, from these keywords, from the messages in the books. And it was just the practice that I wanted to go back to again and again. It had to be these. And even though I didn't use these decks publicly, privately, they were my go-tos, so much so that they sit on the shelf together on my desk. They do not move from there because I want them to be right where I can find them when it's time to do another check-in. I didn't take a lot of photographs, even though they are gorgeous, you can see. I think it was because I really just wanted the messages. You know, it was about getting into my mind. It was about being introspective. And then, you know, it was the journaling that was the thing I wanted to record. So I don't have any pictures, but I have a lot of memories and of these cards holding me down this year and really giving me some guiding lights that helped me through my year. So if it's going to be decks of the year, it's going to be these, you know? So for me, it's the Mindscapes Tarot, the Floridian Mythos Oracle, and the Dreaming Waves Oracle. Those are my decks of the year for 2025. Almost said 2026.
Well, Robyn almost has said 2026. So shall we do it again next year? Please let me know what you think, friends. And what an array, a diverse array of decks we got to witness. And what fun it was to finish off 2025 together. I am so very grateful to you, Cara, Tammy Pie, Coco, Sarah, Marilyn, Robyn, and Ina and Ellen for your presence here and for your support of the Deck of the Year project. Your presence and your support mean more than you know. And to our viewers, I hope so much that you enjoyed seeing our decks galore, and we would love to hear from you. Which of the decks that we collectively featured in this video stood out to you the most? And do we share any favorites in common? Please drop us the comment below and be sure to check out the participants of the Deck of the Year project finale. All their channels are linked for you below. Thank you all so much for watching and for being with us today and throughout 2025. I'm sending much love to you all. I wish you an incredible 2026 and I hope to see you in the new year.